So you want to be a polymath, a master of all trades. A person who can design like an artist, build like an engineer, and strategize like a CEO. Well, you've clicked on the right video. There's never been a more perfect time to be a polymath. In this day and age where academia and intellectualism is failing, along with critical thinking that is seemingly dropping, I'm here to try to inspire and motivate as many people as possible into polymathy and hopefully flip the script. I've researched and summarized everything that it takes to master not just any skill, but multiple skills of your choice. And this concept is best represented with characters like Tony Stark or Batman. So by the end of this video, I'll show you how you can master multiple skills, dominate in different fields, and become a person that's just built differently. I'll also include some additional tips on how to learn more effectively and efficiently at the end, so stay tuned. Let's define what being a polymath truly means and why it matters in the first place. Polymathy is the ability to excel across multiple fields or areas of knowledge. A polymath isn't someone who just dabbles into something. They achieve complete mastery in diverse fields driven by relentless curiosity. Think of historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci, Marie Curie, Gottfried Leibniz, or Benjamin Franklin. They didn't fit into one box, but rather they were creators, scientists, inventors, and more. But isn't this just being a generalist? Well, not quite. Generalists have broad adaptability, while polymaths strive for proficiency and expertise in multiple disciplines. The difference lies in depth versus breadth. Generalists adapt easily, while polymaths master. So why does society need polymaths? I'm not gonna lie to you, but we do live in a world favoring and revolving around specialists. All the way back from childhood, society pushes us towards single-role careers. What do you want to be when you grow up? They ask, expecting us to know a single answer at an early stage in life. Don't get me wrong, specialization is completely fine, but there's a problem. Specialization can create tunnel vision. Focusing too narrowly can leave you with a fragmented view of the world. You become exceptional at one thing, but miss the interconnected web of knowledge that drives true innovation. Polymathy allows us to break this mold. By learning across fields, you develop a broader perspective, enabling creativity, problem solving, and unique insights that specialists might overlook. And why should I care about polymathy or being one? Polymathy isn't about chasing absolute perfection, it's about lifelong learning and staying curious. Those who know that their time is limited but still strive for excellence nonetheless. People who lead their life with curiosity, unknowing what the future holds for them like a stick floating down the river. Every child starts life as a curious learner, constantly questioning the world and how everything works. But as we grow up, many of us lose that innate curiosity and ability of questioning buried under societal expectations.
But necessity is about reaching the minimum, whereas a polymath reaches for the maximum.
Polymathy reignites that spark, and being a polymath isn't being a nerd. There is no nobility in mediocrity. It's about embracing curiosity, learning, and breaking free from the limiting belief that you can only be good at one thing. You can still explore, experiment, and become much more, which will serve a more fulfilling purpose in life. And this is why I said earlier that in today's world, there's never been a more perfect time to be a polymath. We have new technology that allows us to access an abundance of knowledge for free at our fingertips. We have the internet that enables people from all over the world to instantly communicate with one another, and of course, the infamous rise of AI with creations like ChatGPT, which is literally Jarvis that everyone can have access to for free, something that was completely science fiction just a few decades ago. So if you don't start now, then you're definitely going to regret it later. Mastering anything in life requires you to master yourself first. As the saying goes, man conquers the world by conquering himself. Now, this chapter will be about self-actualization and discovery, the sort of quote-unquote recipe and prepping before you can start cooking, so to speak. Becoming a polymath starts with adopting a growth mindset, the belief that skills and intelligence can be developed through effort, not just talent alone. You are not limited by what you know today. The more I know, the more I realize how much I don't know. I'm sure you're all aware of the Dunning-Kruger effect, where people sometimes overestimate their abilities or knowledge. You have to put your ego to the side and position yourself as a student or a learner. The more you think you know, the less excited you feel, which leads to less motivation or inclination to learn, so keep humbling yourself and assume that there's still a lot to learn. Avoid falling into the Dunning-Kruger trap thinking that you know more than you do. You also need to set realistic expectations. You can't master anything overnight. Having ambition is great, but you need to pair it with action. And instead of setting goals, you should be setting systems that you can follow. Systems that you can follow easily and consistently, because consistency in simple, actionable habits beats complex plans that you can't follow or maintain reliably. With this, you will actually get stuff done steadily, and steady progress compounds over time. Just aim to be 1% better every day. Next up are your mental and physical health. These are the foundations of your life, and if treated poorly, they can crumble everything you've built. Poor mental health leads to stress and burnout, while neglecting your physical health wears down your energy and focus. You need to take care of yourself by exercising regularly, eating and sleeping well, and keeping your body and mind in pristine condition. There is no brains over bronze argument. Working out teaches you discipline, perseverance, and commitment, all of which are attributes that constitute a polymath. I know I'm only one of the millions of people stating the obvious here and giving generic advice, but they're obvious and generic for a reason. And I'm not here to parrot these to you, but I want to make you actually realize their importance and significance. And in order for you to do stuff, you need to have the time to do them to begin with, right? So you also need excellent time management skills. There are many methods to manage your time effectively, but to cut to the chase, all you need to know is organization, task prioritization, and scheduling. Another challenge that a lot of us struggle with is procrastination, and trust me, I also suffer from this one a lot as well. What I found that works best is to just get started on the easiest task first. This is to just get you started, which is what allows you to overcome the biggest hurdle of procrastination. Once you're actually doing something, the friction to finishing your task becomes much easier and you start to build momentum. And a huge factor that also hinders us from productivity are distractions. Here we go, things like bad addictions, doom scrolling, and so on. Your phone or any other gadgets are ultimate distraction machines that are carefully engineered and designed to keep you hooked as long as possible to capitalize off of you, which fries your reward center as a result. This is why most of the newer generations are suffering from ADHD and cannot get anything done. Lock in and focus on what truly matters.
Lock in on your dream, lock in.
When you're learning or doing a productive task, work in a distraction-free zone. No distracting music, turn off notifications or even your phone entirely, and do the Pomodoro technique, or you can lock in entirely and go into a flow state. Whatever works best for you, your mileage may vary. Lastly, you need to engage with other people. Join communities, study with peers, and exchange ideas. Isolation hinders growth while collaboration accelerates it. Speaking of which, you should join our Discord community where you can connect and talk with me and other like-minded individuals. Link is in the description. If you want to take it to the next level, consider sharing your journey publicly. Building a personal brand allows for accountability, constructive criticism, finding new ideas or perspectives, and strengthens your communication skills. Your mistakes will become learning opportunities, and you gain confidence along the way. Trust me, this is me speaking from experience, and starting my own channel was one of the best things that I'd ever done. Now, if you want to become an expert or a master, we first need an outline. A criteria as to what defines an expert. Veritasium did an amazing video regarding this topic if you want to go into more depth, but I will briefly explain the 4 criteria of what it takes to be an expert. Number 1. Repeated attempts with feedback. Thousands of hours of practice must be paired with consistent feedback to correct mistakes and guide improvement. Number 2. Valid environment. Mastery requires a predictable and consistent environment, not one based on luck or randomness. Number 3. Timely feedback. Immediate feedback helps experts to quickly adjust and learn, like athletes or problem solvers who instantly know if they succeed or fail. Number 4. Deliberate practice. Experts will deliberately and continuously challenge themselves by practicing their weak areas, and bonus points if it's something they are passionate about. Now that we know what criteria needs to be fulfilled, let's learn how to learn. Preparation stage. Decide what you want to learn and map out a clear step-by-step plan. Many learning roadmaps already exist out there for you to use. For example, there's roadmap.sh if you're into IT and want to learn a specific field, or in academics there's courses taught for free like Khan Academy, or from some top universities like MIT's OpenCourseWare, Stanford Online, or Harvard edX. Don't overthink this step too much or spend too much time on it, just plan quickly so you can avoid procrastination and get started. Learning stage. Learning essentially happens in 3 phases. Recollection or bulimic learning. This is when you can memorize information but lack deep understanding and comprehension. This is your foundation. It's necessary but incomplete. There's a lot that you don't understand and what you don't know. Interpretation. You can begin to explain concepts in your own words, connect ideas, and think critically, hence the word interpretation. Now you know what you didn't know or understand, and there is a lot that you can still learn. Application. You have a higher level of comprehension and can now teach concepts, create new ideas, or solve complex problems. Mastery means pushing the boundaries with only niche gaps left to fill. Now, to get you started leveling up from the first phase to the final phase, you need to embrace the journey itself. As taken from the book Mastery by George Leonard, the path to mastery doesn't look like this, but more like this. There will be long plateaus between progresses, and this is the moment when you need to resist taking the path of the dabbler, the obsessive, or the hacker. The dabbler starts enthusiastically but quits when reaching a plateau, the obsessive overworks to achieve quick results but ends up burning out, and the hacker settles for mediocrity and stops improving or progress once a certain level is achieved. Plateaus are those periods of steady practice without visible improvement, but learning to embrace them is the secret sauce for long-term success. To go through a plateau effectively, you should seek guidance from a quality mentor or resource to provide guidance and feedback while committing to consistent and deliberate practice. Find joy in the process instead of the results, and accept challenges that arise with a problem-solving mindset instead of blaming everything else and not taking responsibility. When facing problems, you should be asking yourself, what am I gonna do about it? If you're not planning your day and instead just drifting through with no system or framework to follow, then honestly you are unfocused and won't get much done. Always push your limits, but make sure you're balancing effort with rest for steady progress. Remember, the journey to mastery requires patience, persistence, and the ability to adapt, even when progress seems slow. Lastly, here are my additional tips that I wish I had known earlier to accelerate my learning. First off, speed reading. This skill allows you to efficiently go through material by skimming unnecessary details while retaining comprehension. Try to identify what you're looking for before reading. Second, memory techniques. There's some like the memory palace, chunking, or mnemonics, but I personally use active recall and the spacing effect. Understanding topics at a deep level also helps you solidify it to your memory. Speaking of which, the third is critical thinking. You should analyze concepts deeply and understand them at an intrinsic level. Use inductive and deductive reasoning. Do not stop asking questions until you achieve those aha moments when they finally click. Fourth, always test and push your capabilities with practice exams or challenges that assess and extend your limits. I always do these before my finals and they help a ton. Fifth, focus on connecting the dots by integrating ideas across disciplines, which will improve your creative thinking and adaptability. This will also help you train your pattern recognition skills and learn much faster when you start learning new fields, areas, or skills, like learning languages for example. Lastly, leverage technology to its fullest potential. I cannot express this enough, but there are now so many tools that you can leverage to accelerate your learning by tenfold. Use AI tools like ChatGPT for general learning. You can ask it to explain any concept to you in simple terms to help you better understand. Or there's tools like Google's Notebook LM for AI-assisted studying guides to train them using your own sources or data. You can even feed entire lectures, books, or materials and ask AI to summarize it, explain it like you're 5, or generate practice questions for you. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies, by the way, I'm just recommending what I use personally. Mastery, just like Polymathy, isn't about perfection or constant improvement, but rather about dedication to the process. As cliche as it might sound, success comes from loving the journey, not the destination. Be committed to learning and make sure you stay consistent, guys. Practice, experience, and hard work with resilient effort beats talent alone. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you want more content, and leave a thumbs up if you like this video. See you next time, peace.